There are these moments in our lives when we decide not to say something that we want to say, or we decide not to do something that we want to do. And every time that we do this, we miss out on potentially life-changing opportunities. When we avoid discomfort, hard choices, and risk, we avoid learning, growing, and living. For me, starting to understand risk and take more risks myself has been one of the best things that I've done in my 20s, because if you want the higher reward, you have to deal with higher risk. And I know quite a few people who want to take more risks in their 20s but don't really know how. So in this video, we're going to go through 10 ways you can take more risks. So the first thing you've got to do is define the risk, because if you don't know what the risk is, then you don't really know how you can go about making a decision. Like, what is the risk of moving city? What is the risk of taking a job with less money? What is the risk of starting a business? What are the actual stakes of doing the thing that you're thinking about doing? To do this, we've got to define what success means to us. If you know what success looks like to you, then you know what you're risking when you make a decision. Success could be making lots of money, it could be enjoying your job, it could be doing something meaningful, it could be having fun, it could just be having enough time to spend with your friends and family. Success can be anything. For me, success looks like enjoying and finding meaning in the work that I do and having a bit of spare time and money to spend with my friends and family. So when I was consulting last year, it was a really, really useful experience. I was working as a management consultant and I learned a lot, but I didn't particularly feel that successful. If you asked me, like, Tintin, are you successful? Do you feel successful? I would have been like, I would have found it hard to say yes. But this year, because I'm doing lots of things that I find enjoyable and meaningful, I'd find it so easy to say, yes, I am successful. And that feels so different. And I think it's because I know what success looks like to me. So once I realized that my success looked more like enjoying my job and finding meaning in it, it actually became more risky to staying in the job that I didn't really like and didn't give me much meaning. So that way, it actually made it much clearer what the risk was. The money, the status, and the stability that came with working as a management consultant actually meant less to me than enjoying and finding meaning in the work that I do. And so it kind of came quite obvious what the risks were and which decision I wanted to make. And to others from the outside, it might look like my life is not a success. I don't have a full-time job. I have no clear career path ahead of me, but I feel like a success and I feel kind of content with my lifestyle. And so, you know, it depends what kind of judgment you care about. But if you want to feel successful yourself, then you have to define what success is to you. It's important to know I am not advocating you quitting your job. That is not at all what I'm doing. I'm just talking about my experience, and that was definitely the best thing for me to do. But there are other ways that you can take risks than just quitting your job. So once we know what success looks like, when we're thinking about taking a risk, we can ask ourselves, what is the worst that could happen? We often think that when things are risky, they'll go really, really badly. And I found quitting my job earlier this year so stressful. I really did find it stressful. And I thought about to try and help me through the process, I thought, what is the worst that could happen here? And realistically, the worst that could happen was just personal bankruptcy and ending up at home with my parents. I was not going to lose all my friends. I was not going to lose my health. It was just career risk and financial risk. And I would just end up at home with my parents. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're probably in a relatively similar situation. And if all goes wrong, everything just blows up in your life, you can go home to your mum or dad and stay with them. So when you ask yourself this question, what's the worst that could happen? You realize that what you're really worried about is just career risk and maybe not knowing what the next couple years of your life might look like. And to be honest, if you want to have higher reward in some sense, then you might have to deal with a certain level of uncertainty. And so when you ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? You kind of realize that the worst things are quite unlikely. And what you're really worried about is some uncertainty over the next few years and a little bit of career risk. But it's important to understand that there is risk to everything. There is risk to staying in a very stable career. You miss out on other things. There is always risk. And so when it comes to big decisions like maybe moving city or moving job, or maybe it's you're really enjoying your job and you want to get promoted and it's having that difficult conversation that you're nervous about, you realize that actually the risk of doing those things is actually quite limited. Number 3 is actually things that you shouldn't risk. And there are 2 things in this category. The first is your health. So obviously just don't do anything that risks your health, because your health is your foundation. You can't really do anything else without your health, and you can't take any risks if you're not healthy. So prioritize that. And the second thing is ruin. So don't do anything that will ruin you. And by that, I basically mean doing things that are illegal. That's kind of it. Your health and doing things that are legal, basically everything else is in play. You're going to be fine whatever happens. We're all way more resilient than we realize. Number 4 is starting a side project. And so we're actually going to get into some stuff where you can actually start practically taking a bit more risk. And I say side project because I don't mean side hustle where you have to make money. I mean side project where you can try something and you follow your interests and potentially make money with it down the line. And I mean things like maybe you're really into painting and you want to continue doing that. You have to do more of it. Maybe you want to start a blog, starting a YouTube channel, starting an Instagram account. It could be buying and selling things online. Maybe that's like a fun way for you to actually earn some money, but also learning a new skill and learning about a new part of the world. And maybe it could be learning a new skill in and of itself, like learning to do video editing or something like that. So the reason that pursuing one of these things is really good, because when you pursue it, it opens you up to new opportunities. And I am going to advocate for pursuing something online, because when you do something online, it opens you up to so many different things. And obviously I'm going to say this because I'm making a YouTube channel, I'm making these videos, but since I've started doing stuff on the internet, the number of opportunities that have come my way have like 10 times since last year, before I was making YouTube videos. And obviously I'm going to say this, and like this is my spiel, telling people to put stuff on the internet, but it just connects you to like a million different things, and we really underestimate how much the internet can really help us. You can just have a little quiet corner of the internet where you're doing your thing, you're pursuing a project, and then when you want to, you can share it, you can tell people about it, or maybe someone will find it and send you an interesting message. You just never know. So starting a side project and doing it online is an excellent way to open yourself up to being able to take more risks. So the next one is taking risks under your own name. So to understand this one, we have to understand this concept of accountability. You get rewarded the more accountable you are. So the higher up in a company you are, the more you get paid, because the more accountability you have. If things go wrong, you're the one to blame. When you're at the bottom of the company, you get paid less, because if things go wrong, it's sort of normally someone who's more senior than you who has to deal with it. So when you take risks under your own name, you have the ultimate accountability, because whatever you do, whatever you say is attached to your name. And if it goes well, you get all the benefits. And if it goes badly, you obviously have to take accountability for that. I obviously am doing this with this YouTube channel, so whatever I say can be, thrown back against me. And but also if it goes well, which I hope it will, then I get to the rewards myself, instead of there being someone who's more senior than me or some other company that takes the benefits away from me. Number 6 is optimize for learning, not money. So in our 20s, we have lots of time, and yes, money is really important. We need to eat, we need to have fun, we need to get by, but learning is more important, because you will figure out what you're good at, what you like doing, what is meaningful to you. And then once you have that, then you can go and find a way to make money doing those things. And we think that we need to just get ahead, and it's a bit of a rat race. Rat race, but then you get further into the race and really you actually don't know why you're racing at all. If you learn and explore, then you're more likely to figure out what you enjoy and how you can make some money doing that thing as well. And this could mean in your 20s working for free, or traveling to a different city to do some work, or doing some work on the side. Basically optimize where you think you're going to get the best experience and the steepest learning curve. And there's this saying I quite like, which is say no to a good job because of a great job. And what it means is just saying no to a good, stable, fairly interesting job to a great job that really motivates you and really excites you. And it could mean doing a great job for free, one where you learn loads, but you're not even getting paid. And that could be some part-time work that you do that you fund through a full-time job and things like that. Just optimize for the experiences where you're going to learn the most and get experiences that you think are most relevant to you. And then further down the line, when you know lots about yourself, you'll be able to make better decisions. Number 7 for how to take more risk is seek discomfort and say yes. So this is basically the mantra of this YouTube channel, Yes Theory, which you should definitely check out, because they basically do all these crazy things that look really fun, and they challenge themselves all the time, and it's how they push themselves to take more risk. And that is how you learn and grow and understand what things really motivate you. It's in those moments where you want to say no because you're scared, and you should just say yes to the things that scare you, because that is how you grow, and that is how you take more risks, is risking what you find comfortable. Obviously, mental health and well-being and all that good stuff, say no when you need to say no. But in general, just having a yes attitude is a great way to take more risks. Number 8 is seek excitement. So it can be really confusing sometimes to actually know what makes us happy, what we find enjoyable, what we find meaningful, what gives us purpose. But one emotion I actually do find quite easy to understand is excitement. It's what things make you excited. Just think about the times when you've been really excited in your life and try and do more of those things. It's an emotion I try and chase because I really like to feel excited about the world and the things that might happen in my life. And so I do more of those things that make me excited. And one of the things that makes me excited is putting things onto the internet and seeing what happens and seeing where it goes. And I just find that whole process quite exciting. So I'm going to keep doing it. And there are other things that I find exciting. Like I find playing football really exciting. That really is just something that gets me going. And so I try and do that thing. And it's just about following that emotion. Number 9 is move. So move city or move country. I'm not the person to ask about this because I have been in and around London most of my life, but lots of people say that moving is lots of fun and gives them new opportunities, and it is a bit risky because you don't really know what will happen. So if you're looking for something to jazz up your life, then maybe move city or move country. Number 10, the biggest one of all, is have a bias towards action, because we are skewed as humans towards inaction. We are really happy sometimes to just sit and wait and see how it goes, but this is not the solution. If you want to take more risks in your 20s, then you have to have a bias towards action. It doesn't mean quitting your job without thinking or starting a business without thinking. It just means have a bias towards doing, not just thinking. So it could be, if you've got something that's on your mind, something that you want to try, something you want to do, explore it, do something about it. Don't just think about it. It could be researching the thing that you want to do. It could be calling someone and talking about the thing that you want to do. It could be testing it out a little bit. It just means actually doing and not just thinking. Time and again, this comes up in the books that I read about, like research-based tips on how to live a life that you want to live. It is doing things, not just thinking about things. And it applies to those people who love their jobs and love their lives anyway. It just means having a bias towards acting on things that you're thinking about, not just deliberating over them for ages and ages. When you're in your 20s, you can afford to make mistakes and make the wrong decisions and make decisions quickly. And if they go badly, you can just let go and move on to the next thing. You have more time than you think you do. When you think of something, just explore it, Google it, YouTube it, talk to someone about it, write some thoughts down about it. Don't just think over and over again about the same things, the same concerns. Move forwards with it. If you've made it this far in the video, then you're an absolute legend, but you might enjoy also watching this video here about why I quit my job in consulting, and also this video here about how it really feels to put yourself online. Thank you so much. Please drop a comment about something, anything that you enjoyed in the video. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.